Hey everybody, it's GoblinX, and welcome back to another Arena Direct. This time, of course, the Aetherdrift Arena Direct. It's a best-of-one sealed event where we are competing to win a collector booster box of the set. So since this Aetherdrift this time, best-of-one Aetherdrift sealed, trying to win a collector booster box of Aetherdrift. And that is a physical paper booster box shipped directly to your actual address, which is very, very cool to be able to win some physical Magic cards by playing digital Magic. I think for sure, whenever the Final Fantasy Arena Direct comes around, I am going to take time off of work and literally do nothing but that for the 2 days that it's up, or however long, because I'd like to have a lot of that product, and it costs so much money. But anyways, with that whole spiel out of the way, let's see if we can't get a collector box or two of Aetherdrift and hop right back in to this Arena Direct. All right, quite a few rares here, and they're kind of all over the place, so it does really depend on what our strongest colors are between the commons and uncommons, where our best mana fixing lies. We have a 2-for-1 removal spell plus big vehicle with Boom Mobile. We've got the Oil Deep Gear Hulk, very restrictive mana cost, but if our blue and black are powerful, this will be a really strong card in that deck. Thopter Fabricator plays really well with some specific cards that could draw a card multiple turns in a row, like Ether Siphon, but it also plays well with just cycling cards in general, so that could also be a great blue spell. Hazoret is pretty solid. I've actually never played with Hazoret yet. I've played against it once and just beat our opponent pretty easily, but I think the issue is because they didn't have a lot of great ways to start their engines super early. Like, if you have max speed, this card's an absurd rate, so it'll be an interesting one. It really depends what else is in our sealed pool. If there's a bunch of stuff that does have a decent way to curve out and get max speed consistently or not. It's a very interesting rare for sure, as is the Mimoplasm, a 3-color spell, so we'd have to be able to play green, blue, and black, but one of our rare dual lands helps do that. And of course, we've got a great blue-black rare right here, but this is a really powerful late-game play. Just dump a bunch of mana into this to make it a gigantic creature, and you can even copy the abilities of whatever you've exiled from your graveyard to cast this. That's pretty cool. Zahur's really just for a black-white start your engines deck, so that's probably the least likely just because we have multiple rares in multiple other color pairs. But it is still a good card. And then Crypt Collar Chariot is incredibly sealed pool dependent. You have to have some very specific synergies for that card. The best one is not in our sealed pool. It's the common 5-mana 4/5 shark that lets you discard a card and draw a card every turn. That is the nastiest thing you can do with Crypt Collar Chariot. But outside of that, if you've got like a lot of cycling, you could still do some stuff with it. So let's see, we got a Jungle Hollow and Thornwood Falls towards the Sultai rare. I do like that. One starting column, pretty filler fixing, but it does the job when you gotta play 3-color like in sealed. That is going to be it for colorless fixing there. There is a Rugged Highlands for green-red as well. I should mention that, although I didn't see any big reason to be in green and red together, because our best green rare is green, blue, black anyway. I guess if the green as a standalone color is pretty strong, but it does not look that way. All right, so that is the colorless and the fixing. That's what I like to look at first, because that's the stuff that could fit into any deck. And then I also do like to take a look at the other multicolored spells. Some of the signpost uncommons tend to be almost as powerful as rare and could be big directions to go in a specific color pair, but I don't think any of these signpost uncommons really fit that bill. Pathmaker's probably the closest, but like Hellride and Sloop, just solid cards in their respective archetypes. Not a huge reason to try to go that way. All right, now we'll just do the traditional thing. Go through all of our colors, check out what colors look the best, and shove them together. See what looks good. All right, so white looks fine. There's no removal here, but we've got really good beefy vehicles and a mount there at the top end, some decent early game creatures. I mean, there's technically one collision course, but this is really inconsistent removal. It can destroy any artifact, but when it comes to actually shooting creatures, it's hard to have enough to kill any of the really big creatures that you care about, especially if you're playing against like a green deck, because their creatures get so big. For blue here, wow, we got Stock Up, we have Flood the Engine for removal, we have that Thopter Fabricator. There's some cards that already work with it, like the Keen Buccaneer, the Mindspring Merfolk, Ranger's Refueler also draws a card. The Hull Drifters all draw 2 cards, which trigger the Fabricator as well. Blue card draw looks pretty great, and we also have a removal spell and a bounce spell here in the color for a little bit of interaction. Very into the blue when compared to our white so far. As for black, we have nothing really exciting. Double back on track, Carrion Cruiser for some graveyard reanimation shenanigans is pretty cute, but there's nothing really in the black to reanimate. So we would need, I guess, a lot of really big green creatures and some green self-mill cards to get these to work well, but we somehow have no removal in the color. I don't have any super exciting cards here, no bombs or anything, just the Crypt Collar Chariot, of course. Black looks fine, but again, blue is easily my favorite color so far. And then red, we've got a Boom Mobile, we've got Outpace Oblivion, we've got Lightning Strike, that's a good chunk of removal. We've got that Hazoret if we can get aggressive. And we do have 3 1-mana creatures that can work towards raising our max speed. We will have to play some cards that start our engines to actually get that value here. But we can start our engines with Goblin Surveyor and Catalyzer as filler cards, just to get the engines going up by the time that we might top deck a Hazoret. So red looks pretty solid. I think blue and red look like our best colors so far. And last but not least is green. I would certainly say this is not least, but it's also certainly not best. Very low on creatures. 2 of them are really nice. The Beast Rider Vanguard giving you a mana sink and the Hazard of the Dunes just being really big for the cost, but Surveyor and Jaguar are pretty filler. And then we do have 2 run over for good removal spells, but pretty much everything else is filler. Decent combat tricks, pretty low creature count, 2 of which are really filler creatures. Green just looks okay, not really a huge reason to be in the color. So blue and red look like the best colors individually in terms of just common and uncommon card quality, but I do want to take another look at the rares here, because I don't think any of our colors were horrible. So if the rares are so strong that they really push us in a specific direction, we can still just do that. But we had, what, 2 red rares that look pretty good. Just Crypt Collar Chariot out of the black. Blue has the Thopter Fabricator and the Mindspring Merfolk. I mean, there's also 2 rares in blue, 2 rares in red, and I already liked those as the best colors, just common and uncommon card quality as well. Kind of feeling like blue-red cycling nonsense here, but we do have that Gear Hulk. We can still play blue towards that, and that would fit the Chariot and the Mimeoplasm in the same deck. The issue with this deck is going to be that I don't think we actually cycle that much for the Chariot, and our mana fixing isn't great. I mean, by sealed standards, it's pretty good. Thornwood Falls, Willow Rush Verge, and Jungle Hollow. Let's see. These are all perfectly fine. Man, the quantity of green cards is just really low. So, we don't want to go full 3 color here. We'd want to be on a splash. Black has no removal, so would it actually be blue-green splash black? I can cut 17 cards. Oh no, I can't. Splash. Gear Hulk requires double black. You really don't want to be splashing for double pip cards like that. You want these 2 colors to be the core, and then just the single green mana I need for Mimeoplasm. It would be a lot easier to do that as the splash. Just need 1 green mana by really late in the game. That would be much more consistent mana-wise than running green as a core color. I get to cut 7 more cards. I really just don't think Crypt Collar Chariot is going to get there. Guidelight Optimizer doesn't do a ton here. Back on tracks, we don't have anything big to reanimate. They're still okay value plays. If we're really lucky and get a Gear Hulk back, they could be good. Oops, and triple Hull Drifter does seem like probably a lot. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of like Calaxian either because of the just 2 toughness. No abilities. You just trade it down into a 2 mana 2/1. The vast majority of the time, or a 1 mana Grim Bauble or something. 1 mana red removal too. 6 cuts now. Percentage control of an artifact or creature with 1 an opponent controls. Got 1/1 Thopters on occasion, on rare occasion. I don't think I have a lot of good cards to trade with that. Crypt Caller again, we have, I guess, Starting Column discards a card that technically triggers it. And then 1 Buccaneer technically triggers it, and 1 Gravestalker. That is not a lot of discard. I'll try 1 Holdrift or 1 Back on Track if we run this. This looks fine. I mean, honestly, Mimiplasm. So 5 mana, 6/6, 7 mana 9/9. Sorry, 6 mana 9/9. But I have to have enough creatures in my graveyard for it. Should be easy enough to just trade some stuff off. It's basically just like a beefy stat line. I guess it can become a copy of a flyer, right? And then it's a big 9/9 flyer. Yeah, that's like a solid finisher. That's worth the splash. This deck looks pretty fine. This is definitely reasonable. I do really want to peek back at that blue-red build now, though, because I think those are the 2 best directions to take this sealed pool. So I'm going to lock that deck in so that if I don't like how blue-red looks and I want to just easily go back to editing that, I can just edit the deck builder, or leave the deck builder here. Okay, blue-red. Here, let me do this. This is easier. Blue-red, click, boom. We get a boosted sloop here. Oh, I guess we could have put a Haunted Hellride in the other deck. I forgot about the multicolored cards, uncommons. That would have been fine. I don't think that really changes the quality of the deck all that much. Towards getting me any more excited about it. I've got 3 dual lands towards splashing green with this deck as well. What is the point of splashing green here, though? A Boom Scholar? I mean, it's definitely worth looking into because we have 3 green duals. If I really need removal, I have double run over. Although I assume my creatures are not going to be that big in blue-red to be able to kill things that are all too large in the first place. That looks like basically it for big reasons to splash in blue-red. I have 3 green duals here towards the double run over. Okay, that's interesting. I do get to cut 9 cards. Ooh, we get to try to be the hyper aggro deck here and cheese people out playing their slower builds, hoping that they didn't get a lot of the really good defensive cards in the format since they are at the mercy of what they open in the sealed pool rather than being able to draft the great kind of defensive decks and cards that you see all over the draft formats. Yeah, I think we're just cutting a bunch of non-creature stuff, really. Mech cycle's pretty inconsistent. Get a little low on creatures dropping a Velocitar, but I just don't think this card is very good. And I can crew the Manglers with Dynamite Drivers. Just something. Crew Holdrifters with them as well. Yeah, triple Holdrifter actually getting crewed off Dynamite Divers is pretty cute. I actually use those as the top end, get a lot of card draw going. Thopter Fabricator plus Boosted Sloop is a really nasty combo. We can just like chump attack with a Thopter, draw a card, discard a card, make a new Thopter every turn. Or if our opponent doesn't have the flying or reach blocker, then it's actually like really good. There's a lot of really cute stuff going on in this deck, honestly. But I feel like it's probably more cute than anything. Just going for slightly beefier, stronger late game plays like we have in Sultai. It's generally what you're supposed to do in Sealed, but this deck is so cute to me. I think I want to make bad decisions today and run this for variety's sake. This is not an average Sealed deck. This is very memey. It's trying to do Fabricator combos with a bunch of card draw, with cycling, boosted sloops, hole drifters and stuff triggering that. We're trying to get our speed up really quick with our super low curve by Sealed standards towards Hazoret. We have triple hole drifter for big card draw in the late game that can get crewed off of one drops like Dynamite Driver. That's really cute. This deck just has a ton of card draw in general because it also has a Mind Spring Merfolk. It's got a good chunk of exhaust to go with Ranger's Refueler to draw a bunch of cards as well, because we have Refueler, we have Boommobile, we have Skystreak Engineer, Prowcatcher Specialist, Mind Spring Merfolk. Those are all exhaust cards to trigger Refueler. Yeah, I want to cut, I think, one more spell and then a land here. And just lock this in. Again, I'm pretty sure I should just be playing the Sultai deck because it's got the bigger plays for a longer, grindier game, but this deck just looks so much more fun to me, and that's what I'm in the mood for. Triple Hole Drifter is probably still a little high, so we'll go double Hole Drifter, cut a land. And for that land, we got 14 blue, 11 red. But I'm going to go 50-50 split on it because I don't need double blue till turn 5. Whereas red, I have more red 1-drops, and I have a double red 4-drop that's really powerful with Boommobile. So we'll do that, I think. Blue-red. Card draw / cycling / exhaust / start your engines nonsense. A lot of stuff going on for this deck. Guidelight Optimizer's not horrible because it taps towards Boommobile and Hole Drifter and all of our exhaust abilities, but I do remember an artifact that could play well in this deck as well, which is the Walking Sarcophagus, just for a little bit more start your engines to get added to the party. Just for the Hazoret to become a creature more frequently. If I top deck Hazoret later, by having a Sarcophagus in the deck, I'll have started my engines a little more often, probably. I wouldn't mind cutting the Marauding Mako here, because we actually don't have a lot of cycling. I have one Keen Buccaneer that will trigger the Mako one time, and then a Boosted Sloop, if I'm really lucky. Boosted Sloop plus Mako is obviously great, because then we get the trigger turn over turn. But that's it. I guess there's 3 cards. I can cycle a Trade the Helm as well. Which is somewhat filler in here, but I like it at the top end. Try to give a Dynamite Diver and get a bomb rare in this format. Trade the Helm's probably a little better in Sealed than Draft. Yeah, I'm cutting the Mako. I just really don't think it's going to be doing too much consistently. I still think it would be okay in this deck because we have the Thopter Fabricator as well, so like if we draw it and cycle it, that's going to be fine. And if it's just in our opening hand, we can roll it out, curve out with it, and maybe hit a discard or 2 throughout the game. So it's perfectly fine, but I do think the Sarcophagus, just for more start your engines cards to be working on our speed more often in case of a late game top deck Hazoret, would be preferable to me. So I'm going to run the Sarcophagus here, and I'm going to call it a deck here. Again, this is almost definitely not the right way to go. There's that Sultai deck we were looking at that I think is probably better during the average Sealed game, but this deck looks really fun. It's got a lot of spicy stuff going on. Cards I haven't gotten to play with, like Boommobile, Hazoret, Mind Spring Merfolk, and it still has a decent chunk of power and synergy itself. So we're going to run with the blue-red aggro card draw monstrosity here, hop into the gameplay, and see how it does. All right, here we are for game 1. Really solid opening hand. Dynamite Diver turn 1, Refueler or Engineer turn 2. Buccaneer and Surveyor off of any land on turn 3. Our opponent starts with a Grease Wrench Goblin. Dynamite Diver is pretty good against that, because if it dies before this card exhausts, we get to just shoot the Goblin. Drop the Engineer here. Gruel from our opponent, dropping a Prow Catcher Specialist, but our 1/3 Skystreak Engineer holding all of those attacks off. Great stat line there. Dynamite Diver is disgusting on blocks here, so I think I'm just not attacking at all. Well, Hazoret is a heck of a drug. I think I'm gonna start my engines here and get one Engineer damage in. And they still shouldn't be able to attack in, really, because they don't really want to throw a removal spell at Dynamite Diver and get 2 for 1. They also don't want to attack into Dynamite Diver and get 2 for 1. So we should still have perfect blocks up here, even just playing the lower toughness 3/2 Goblin Surveyor. Okay, Afterburner Expert is very good on this board. They have 3 different exhaust cards on the board, and the way that Afterburner Expert works is it will come back from the graveyard to the battlefield whenever they activate another exhaust card, so that is quite strong. Okay. I don't mind Boosted Sloop here to draw a card, discard a card. I should not have played my land yet, because if we drew into a mountain, I would keep that, ditch that. I guess I could still play Buccaneer, still be playing to the board. I think I have to just let Afterburner Expert hit me, though. Yeah, it probably would have been better to just Boosted Sloop without playing a land, draw a card, discard the island if the other draws a mountain. And then obviously it really depends what the draw is. Maybe we discard whatever we draw there. But since I already played the land, I think that makes Buccaneer the better play at that point. They're really close. Like Buccaneer, we're getting extra power and toughness on the board. I can start attacking and blocking here easily. It's got Vigilance. It would eat both of their blockers on this board. Pothole Mole. Okay, that changes that. Now they could double block with Pothole Mole and one of the 2/1s, and I can exhaust the Buccaneer, but then still only kill the Pothole Mole. So now Refueler Exhaust Buccaneer looks pretty exciting. We draw a card completely off of Refueler and draw a card, discard a card off Buccaneer. I don't mind that. And we're at max speed now, too. If I ever hit the Hazoret, that's going to be super nasty. And this will be 2 draws and a discard towards that. I think I just do it at sorcery speed in case I hit the land for turn. There's the Hazoret. Guidelight Optimizer is the weakest of these cards. Technically, if I discard Surveyor, I can just draw a card off of it from grave, but I think another flyer still looks good. They have no reach yet, so I'm still just keeping that in my hand. And then Hazoret just gets to block Afterburner Expert forever. We don't have to worry about that. Alright, Broken Wings after only 1 card draw from our vehicle there is kind of sad. They are tapped out of exhausting one of these other creatures now, though. So now I could chump plus kill with Dynamite Diver. I don't mind that. Okay. Here's Hazoret to block Afterburner Expert. Honestly, or to trample in at this point. They have 8 on the crackback. You know what, sure. This is a lot of damage. Okay, they go for the best block they have, which is kill Buccaneer, lose 1 creature. I'm gonna kill Specialist here. Instinct makes me want to kill the Pothole Mole, but I'm thinking that just getting any of their other potential exhausters off the board could play well here. If they manage to stabilize, the Afterburner Expert repeatedly coming back from like exhausting specialists would be bad. And currently, the only thing that the specialist would block is a 4-3 on the ground is Goblin Surveyor, which would trade into Pothole Mole or an exhausted specialist. Like the exhausting the specialist, or not exhausting the specialist, still has it trade just as well as the Pothole Mole. So the Pothole Mole isn't like blocking any better currently. Okay, Thunderhead Gunner's a problem, because now they have the reach blocker. So we sloop to draw a card, discard a card each turn. Yes, they are at 7. So I can hit for 2 in the sky with Surveyor here. Thanks to Hazoret. Draw a card, discard a card, put them to 5. An unblockable Engineer attack for 3. So I can kill them in 3 swings with unblockable Hazoret attacks going here. Okay. Lightning Strike's a big one. That is just get the unblockable Surveyor in, plus Lightning Strike the face next turn. Opponent discards a card, draws a card with the Thunderhead Gunner. Drop an Ooze Patrol. 1 single green mana untapped should not be enough to save them. As far as I remember. Can look up the instant trick page because we are playing for potential money. They can have run over if they have a mount on the board. None of these are mounts though. They could have defend the rider, which would make a 1/1 blocker on the ground, or give something hexproof indestructible till end of turn. That would also not work here. They actually have no more exhaust on this board. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna lethal them next turn, but I will declare the block here. Oh, they misclicked. Hexproof indestructible, the Wild Roads. Well, that is unfortunate for our opponent, but fortunately, it doesn't matter. They're just dead anyway. All right. Spicy victory from the deck game 1. We'll see if it can't keep that up. We are 1-0 heading into game number 2. All right, here we are for game number 2. I like this hand a lot. We're on the draw here. If they don't blow up our Refueler, though, the Boommobile turn is going to be so gross, because the Boommobile exhausts itself. It gives you the 4 mana to use that. We might have to wait till turn 5, though, because I guess technically it will just do 1 damage to something, so they might not have a 1 damage card on board turn 4. I tell you what, though. This giving us 4 mana only for abilities makes me want to play Refueler over Engineer this turn. Hit for 1 less damage. So that our turn 4 we can Boommobile, exhaust Refueler. That's a pretty nasty turn. If I had Hazoret in hand, or I knew that Hazoret's in the top 4 or 5 or something, I'd probably still go Engineer here, because Engineer is the more likely way to raise our speed the turn that we play Goblin Surveyor. You know, if they play like a 3 toughness blocker, we don't get to attack with Dynamite Diver here. But I guess if it's a 2-3, I can crew the Refueler still, and still get the Goblin Surveyor speed up. So it'd have to be like a 3-3 to stop me from raising speed this turn. But yeah, the engineer, I mean, just a flyer, much more likely to just get in. No! All the broken wings, breaking my hopes and dreams. Well, let's get our speed up here. Pothole Mole. Hello there. Don't have the mana to stock up and engineer. I can't play anything else with the Boom Mobile. Goblin Surveyor into Pothole Mole is not the worst because it will draw a card for us later. Yeah, Boom Mobile is straight up 1 damage, right? Deals X to any target, put a +1/+1 counter on it. X equals 1 right now. Yeah. I'll offer the trade here. Take the trade. So we'll get our card draw off that later. I am going to drop down the engineer here and work on my max speed right now. And we might stock up plus play a 2-drop that we draw off of it next turn. Earth Rumbler. Okay, that's very scary. And the fact that it's a vehicle is not good for me. It's going to be harder to kill. They have a creature and an artifact engrave. Uh-oh. Okay. Does not have reach. I can still just keep using Skystreak Engineer right now. Okay. I mean, forcing them to exile an artifact or creature from grave just to eat a Dynamite Diver doesn't feel horrible, because it's not going to block well anyway, because that thing's got Vigilant... I mean, not Vigilance, the thing's got Trample. So Dynamite Diver's kind of useless on blocks too. It is good at crewing, and I've got a lot of vehicles coming up, though. So there's that to consider. I'm going to go raw card draw with Hole Drifter here and get the 3/2 flying stat line on the board. Draw 2. Find Glitch Ghost Surveyor. So we really need to find... What do we have to deal with massive vehicles? We have Bounce Off would work. Just Bounce Off would be good enough, but Flood the Engine is our best bet. If we can Flood the Engine, we're really safe. Trade the Helm works too. We could steal the Earth Rumbler. So we have 3 main outs that we're looking for. Bounce Off, Flood the Engine, and Trade the Helm. And we've got to stock up to dig 5 cards deeper. I've already dug 2 extra cards off of Hole Drifter. So we're doing what we can here. It's not great. The 6/6/2. Green is just so stupidly large in this set. Yep. There's the Flood the Engine, but now they have a reach blocker down. I need so much mana to Boom Mobile a Ketradon. So if I Boom Mobile the turn I play it, I've already got X equals 1 plus 2. I have X equals 3 right now off of 6 mana total. So I need to draw 3 more lands towards booming a Ketradon. Okay, 6 mana here. I'm not going to have good blocks for Ketradon, even if I play another creature here, so I don't mind like Flood the Engine stock up. Probably stock up first and see if that changes the line. Okay, trade the Helm. That's legit. Buccaneer's solid. Although Catalyzer, we're on our way to max speed. That works towards the Boom Mobile being really big. But if I can just trade into the 6/6 anyway, I think I'm taking Buccaneer. Do I take the hit of 7? Or do I stop the reach blocker just immediately? I mean, I could stop the reach blocker immediately, take the hit of 7, or I can stop the Earth Rumbler and Trump Ketradon poke 1. I guess the bigger question is, what would I rather steal from opponent here? And that would be the Ketradon, because I don't have to keep activating it. to have it up. I mean, I might still just take the hit of 6 here if they attack. That would mean the reach blocker's not up, and I can get to my max speed. I probably do just take the hit here. Down to 7 is rough, but I have the tools to try to take no damage from this point on. The scariest thing is that they could have like Pact Altars, stuff that like drains me. No play? Makes me want to play so safe right now. Or do they have the +1/+2 untap a creature or something? If I trade the Helm, that's the only card I cast this turn. Boommobile does not kill anything right now. If I attack with Dynamite Diver, then even if they do Silken Strength, I still get max speed for the future. I do lose my best Chumper on blocks. If they can counter trade the Helm. Okay. I guess I should say and they can counter trade the Helm, not if they can counter trade the Helm. Like if they Silken Strength the Ketrodon, they would block Diver. I lose that on trade the Helm and blocks, and I have to give them like a Hull Drifter here. I think if they removal spell Dynamite Diver, this doesn't resolve, but I'm not 100% sure. So there's that too. They have like 7 mana up here. It does force them to blow a removal spell on a 1/1 still, so it's not like a total 2-for-1, but it's not good. Obviously, then we need to find another way to deal with Ketrodon, which will be difficult. Okay, they do removal spell the Diver, so I don't believe I get the Ketrodon then. I do not. Yeah, that's bad. I guess if I targeted Hull Drifter in that, they'd be less likely to be able to kill the Hull Drifter. So maybe that was just the play. I'm dead to too many combat tricks now to not chump. Land, pass. Just desperately digging for bounce off. Hazoret works too now. Hazoret is an actual indestructible blocker. I'm just getting edicted right now. Oh, that's crew 3. Well. Still played the most expendable blocker because it draws me a card when it dies. Yeah. That's the Hazoret. But now they have a 7/7 trample. I guess I can Boommobile the Hazard and then play a Chumper for Ketrodon and then play Hazoret next turn. If I don't Boommobile the Hazard right now, it's a 7/7. That's too big. So I have to do this, which means I don't Hazoret this turn. I'm 1 mana off from this. Actually, I forgot this doesn't do like 4 when it enters. It gives me 4 mana, but that 4 mana translates into X equals 1. So 1, 2, 3. I'm a land off from even killing the Hazard. Just maximum blocks then. That's Hazoret plus Sarcophagus is a 3/3 instead of a 2/3, I guess. Also allows me to crew Hull Drifter instead. If they don't have any tricks or removal here, we can double block Hazard and kill that. And Hazard is a 7/7 trample off of the exhaust ability, so Oh no, we're just dead if we do that. Because the 7/7 trample. Tramples over for 1, and Ketchadon gets the 6 damage in. They tapped out of exhausting the hazard. That's massive for us. And they just passed the turn. They just attack both exhaust hazard. That turn is awful for me. Because I can't double block Ketchadon or I'm dead, so I have to go 1 on each and get trampled. Okay. Still barely in it. Now I have Boommobile the Hazard as a line. Because they don't have 7 mana here. Now if they have some other combat trick, then they save the hazard and we're super dead. But if they had some other combat trick, we were super dead last turn anyway. It's also a really good blocker. I can crew this off of the sarcophagus to have a 6/6 up on blocks. We're so lucky right now. We're finding extra turns we should not have had. Mill 2, then destroy the permanent's mana less than equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. Okay, so that's definitely dead. Resolve that. They milled an 8/8 if they don't have a reanimation spell for that. Goodbye, 8/8 trample. Happy to see that you're gone. I think, again, they do have optional attacks here. They've got 8 mana, so the Surveyor can turn into a 6 power creature as well. I can double block one of them and go to 1. Dead to a Pact Altair, but they don't want to go for that. Which is fair if they don't have life drain like Pact Altairs and stuff, then that attack is bad for them. To lose one of their creatures at the cost of just a sarcophagus on my side of the board. Okay. Would like to clump things up here. Hole Drifter plus Buccaneer. Outpace Oblivion is the draw. This is 5 damage, which is not enough because Surveyor can currently get buffed much more than that. So definitely Buccaneer. Fang Druid Summoner. See what that hits. Hopefully they didn't get something great with it. They just have like a Gibberic Omnivore here. But if they have the 9/7, that's quite bad. Doesn't have Trample or anything. Oh, they opened Fang Druid plus Tarion. That's strong. That's very strong. Okay, we've got problems again. I can kill enough creatures here. Outpace the Summoner, Lightning Strike the Surveyor to block the rest. My blocks won't be great, though. I get the double block and kill one of them, and the other has to be a chump block. Because the other 2 creatures are so big. I could throw Oblivion and Lightning Strike at Tyrant at the same creature, but I think I really just need to reduce the number of creatures on their board here. So outpace Oblivion plus Lightning Strike, that's 5 mana worth of plays. And I have Buccaneer for 2. So I can do all of this, which means I Buccaneer first. In case it draws something that looks like a stronger play to make this turn. It does not. Oh, they don't have max speed for Surveyor. That's really nice. okay. If they force the chump there, I was gonna just chump with a Hole Drifter. Keep all the actual creatures. Might mill out here. There's Thopter Fabricator. Feels a little bit late. Bunch of vehicles here. So I don't mind the pilot here over the specialist. Can haste out the specialist on a pivotal turn. I guess I can get to the position where I have a wide enough board that I can keep using Hazoret every turn while still having enough blockers. That reach is such an issue though, and I don't have any more removal that can actually kill that. I just have the bounce. I almost don't want to play this loop because I don't want to draw a card, discard a card. But it gives me Thopters with Fabricator. It's going to put them to 11 cards. We still mill out first. Don't know if I can afford to play Boosted Sloop. As good as it is with Fabricator. I gotta do so much math here. If they end up not gaining any more life ever, Flyer down to 9 cards, down to 8 cards, Flyer down to 7 cards, 6 cards, Flyer down to 5 cards, 4 cards, Flyer down to 3 cards, 2 cards. I get like 4 Flyers out, 2 cards left in deck, 4 Flyers. Ketrodon blocks 1, blocks the 4/4. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus the other 4. That is 10 damage in the sky. In that time, the 4 Flyers I got would have been 4 attacks. 4 attacks for 2 apiece would have been 8. That would have been about 20 because I could hit for 4 on one of these attacks and 2 on the rest of them. So 4, 2, 2, 2, that's 10, that's 20 damage. If I do the Boosted Sloop, get a Thopter every single turn, and they do not gain life the whole game, and they don't play another reach creature. That is a lot needing to go right. So I am not playing the Sloop. Here, the only way they pressure me and make me lose a ton of creatures is a multi-attack where I get to kill Ketrodon, which is just really good for me. If they just attack Tarion, I'm pretty safe to jump here, I feel. But I can also kill it with Fabricator Sarcophagus, giving up on the Thopter plan. Going full Hazoret unblockable swings. I'm gonna jump. I guess I could have jumped Hole Drifter. But the theory is the potential all-flyer swing in the late game. Oh, I forgot about Outpace Oblivion. Draw X cards, put a +1/+1 counter on each merfolk you control. So this makes itself a 2/2, which is big enough to crew stuff. And it's 2 damage with Godseeker. Shoot, yeah, I don't get an unblockable Godseeker swing this turn, which is not wonderful. How much damage does this do? 2 damage? Yeah, I guess with the 2 damage from that, I can kill them before I mill out with Boosted Sloop Thopters. Except that I didn't get a swing in this turn. Because I exhausted Specialist with no other 2-power creature on the board for Godseeker. It still feels so bold to play Sloop. I'm just going to pass here. Since I don't get an unblockable swing in. This is such a crazy game. Because I feel like there were lines our opponent could have made where we would just be dead by now, but there's also lines that I've made that I'm not sure are right, because again, the math is so insane with like the boosted Sloop damage. I have to think like 10 turns ahead of how fast do I kill them with Sloop Thopters off of Thopter Vaporator versus how fast do I mill out. This is a rough game of Magic. I can definitely draw the 1 card off of Mindspring Merfolk here to get a Thopter Chump Blocker. That is 100% safe. Find a Dynamite Diver as well, which is great. Big enough to crew Hole Drifter. Great Death Trigger on it as well. They're so tired of it, they're literally just exhausted out of the game. Physical, mental exhaustion rather than actual the exhaust mechanic, because we 100% did not have that game 100% locked. Because of the mill issue here at 7 cards in library, but they are over it. I'm guessing they're flooded over there where we are going to be able to get these attacks in here. I genuinely don't know who would have won that game if it played out the whole way. Like, I feel like we could pull it off. We hit for 2 every turn. I'm not going to draw any extra turns after this. Or any extra cards after this. So hitting 2 a turn for the next 7 turns is 14 damage. So we hit 2 a turn for the next 6 turns, putting them to 5. And then once they have 5 life, we go wide, especially with a bunch of flyers, and they can only block 1 flyer. If they can only block 1 flyer, they take 6 from the other 2 flyers, actually 7, because the 1/1 flying Thopter and the 2 Hole Drifters. So if they don't draw into another reach creature, all we had to do was get them to a point where we get them down to 7 now, because I have 1 Thopter and 2 Hole Drifters. Getting them down to 7 would take 5 2-damage turns. So they had 5 turns to find a reach blocker there, a reach out, but they're so over it. Oh my god. I even got an achievement. Let's go. That was a stressful, super long game of Magic. I am happy we managed to pull the victory out of our butt there. There were several occasions I was really sure that I was going to die, but then there were a couple occasions where our opponent gave us just a little extra time. I think they played a little defensively there, and then, of course, some situations there where I'm like, I don't think I'm playing this out right because the math is so insane here. I think I messed things up on a couple turns as well, for sure. But it all worked out perfectly fine in the end. We do manage to get that victory. We are 2-0 heading into Game 3. Here we are for Game 3. I will keep this. Start our engines here, so any damage we manage to get in is working towards Hazoret being insane. I hope I'm not against green again, because we saw last round how much of an issue that is with some of those really big creatures. But it is the best color in the format with a ton of support at common, so I expect the vast majority of sealed decks are going to be green. And probably should be green. Grim, Bobble the Catalyzer, that's sad, but we still started our engines, so any damage we get in will be giving us value. Let's refuel or exhaust it and attack with it next turn. We're playing against Rakdos this time so far. Pace Setter Paragon, 2/3, they can exhaust it once, get a counter on it, give it double strike. I'm going to hold on to Bounce Off. Being able to do that the turn that they exhaust that is going to be really nasty, and I drew Lightning Strike anyway, so I just Lightning Strike that. the turn that they exhaust it, unless they decide to exhaust it next turn and just poke for 6, in which case they're not expanding their board at all, they're not playing any more cards, that's pretty fine. Grim Javelineer, alright, so they are not exhausting it this turn. Buff it with the Javelineer. There's a Thopter Fabricator. Alright, we drew it nice and early this time, so I can play the Thopter Fabricator, holding up Lightning Strike or Bounce Off depending on opponent's play. Outpace Oblivion, blow up the Refueler, sure. Start their engines. Okay. Bounce off the Javelineer, still have the Lightning Strike for the Paragon later. I do need 2 to hold up Lightning Strike instead of 1, so what am I doing next turn? If I top deck a land playing Sloop plus Optimizer to help out Fabricator seems pretty legit, so I might want to hold up the 1 mana card, so if I top deck a land, I go Optimizer Sloop. And still have the 1 mana bounce off up. So I'm going to Lightning Strike here. I'll take the extra damage here to kill the potential scarier card, I think. Well, no, it is so devastating to bounce off a Paragon in response to its ability. I'm just going to hold the bounce off for that card. Oh, no. We missed the land drop, and our opponent plays an incredible bomb rare. This turns... this is a 2/2 plus a 4/4 flyer. Plus a +1. Okay, it's actually a 3/3, and it hastes the dragon. Jesus Christ. I think that's the first time I've ever played against that card, but that looks unbeatable. Okay. That's going to be... So 5 mana. They have the ability to use both of those, which would mean the dragon has haste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage on the crackback. I'll have a single 1/1 flyer up on blocks. I'm putting them to 8, though. And I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 power on that next attack. I think we got to gamble on somehow finding the mega outrace here. Just from Magical Christmas Land at this point. That is the bounce off mana. Hold the phone. I'm so sorry, Mindspring Merfolk. You are a legit card, but bounce off is massive. Oh, this is crew 1? Oh my god. Okay. So I can crew up a 3/3 blocker. I can just kill the dragon that the engineer makes as well. I have a lethal crackback on board too. I want to just pass here and see what they do. I actually do have 8 power on this board if I can get the creatures to crew it, and Rocky Roads makes that possible. I was going to say, I can block with Sloop, and if they dump the mana into Paragon, bounce that off. Okay, so they're waiting till blocks. They see the lethal here. Okay. Oh. Boommobile's actually not that good. Because they get to exhaust the engineer in response. But now I don't want to crack Rocky Roads if I'm not finding lethal this turn. So we go Crew Fabricator, attack, they make the dragon, we bounce off the dragon. We get the Thopter on blocks. That feels pretty legit. If they have just the hard removal spell for Fabricator, that sucks. Could still Boommobile post-combat. That'll still be nice. my god. Yeah. This is working out somehow. They're at 4. Oh, Boommobile can't kill anything right now. Threatens to exhaust next turn, though. I keep forgetting. X equals 1, so this would be 2. I could Boommobile for 2 this turn. Could Boommobile for 3 next turn, or do I just want the 6/6 vehicle? I think I'd rather be able to Boommobile for 3 next turn. Oh my god. Fabricator boosted sloop by the skin of our teeth. Pulls out the victory versus the Draconautics Engineer. The draw into the bounce-off mana was so huge there. Oh my god, we are 3-0 heading into Game 4. Here we are on the play for Game 4. Unfortunately, we don't get to start our engines till turn 3, but outside of that, the hand's pretty solid. It has removal, it has the big card draw in the late game. It even has 2 different creatures that are big enough to crew the late game Hole Drifter. Oh, wow, what a draw. See, this is why I put Walking Sarcophagus in here. Just the 2 drops to start your engines feel so great. To getting to that max speed, and again, just making it so anytime we top deck a Hazoret, we are at max speed is a pretty big deal, which is what makes me excited about working my way towards maximum speed. Even if they throw removal at Sarcophagus, I don't care too much, because I'm still working on my speed, because I started those engines, thanks to that card. Got another removal spell here, flood the engine off the top. There's Goblin Surveyor from our opponent. Here's land 4. I am going to... Against Rakdos... I was going to say I'd rather flood the engine than the Surveyor because I don't think they're going to play anything with more than 5 toughness, but at the same time, I'm still going to outpace Oblivion here because it's going to be a while before they're at max speed to draw the card off of Surveyor anyway. And there are scarier things they can do with cards in their graveyard than draw 1 card in the late game. So we'll save the Flood the Engine for something scarier, like a Pactol Terror, which I could have outpaced Oblivioned. So the way that things played out, it actually would have played better to do it the other way. But again, they're still not to max speed. So they're not drawing the card off that Surveyor yet anyway. Play Specialist, play Hazorets. Okay, well now we really need to stop max speed. I will trade Merfolk and a Specialist to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm surprised they offer the trade. They have the mana to give that unblockable. I guess they just really don't want me drawing the Merfolk cards, but the thing is, it can currently only draw me 2 cards, and if I hit a land, I'm just going to draw 2 cards off of Hole Drifter instead. And then I'll want to spend my mana on whatever that draws instead of the Merfolk. Okay, unless it's land. Then I guess it's kind of awkward. Put them to 7. We have Outpace Oblivion on board to shoot them for 2 more damage. Our Victory. It's a 2/2. That's all it does until they're at max speed. If they don't jump here, they are dead. We're putting them to 3 right now, which puts them to 1 with Outpace Oblivion. They have to jump there. Let's go, let's go. And then the Fabricator plus Surveyor gives me a 1/1 flyer. Since I can't lethal them with Outpace Oblivion right now anyway, I might as well draw my second card for the turn and go for Outpace Oblivion next turn. This way our Thopter is not summoning sick, and there's the concession from our opponent, just keeping them locked off the max speed. keeping that Hazoret locked, keeping that Hour of Victory from tutoring got us the win there. I'm really happy with the trade into the Specialist. Even if I did end up hitting a couple lands off of the Hole Drifter where it's like, well, no, I don't get to use all my mana on that. We still found enough plays without it, thanks to finding the Fabricator as well. Just some really nice draws there. So pretty lucky game again, and we are 4-0 here, heading into round 5. But no matter what happens, we made it into the not the money, but into getting some of our entry fee back, which is really, really nice, because if I didn't, I would have had to pay money for the next Arena Direct that I record. So hey, we'll take it. 4-0, best we've done so far, but we'll see how far we take it heading into game number 5. Here we are on the draw for game 5. I don't love this hand, multiple 5-drops in it, just the 1-mana creature. But we're on the draw here. We got plenty of draw steps to hit some more early plays to roll out, and we did immediately with Endrider Catalyzer, which is pretty nice. Get our engines started nice and quickly. Not that they're going to rise, because the interface ace from our opponent is going to be locking us off of damaging them for now. Our opponent is on Bant's natural 3-color plus the starting column now. I do need to go ahead and outpace the interface ace and get that out of the way, saving the Flood the Engine for bigger, greener creatures. This might be one of those few games that the fact that Endrider Catalyzer can tap for mana once you're at max speed might be relevant. Usually at that point, it doesn't matter, because you have so much mana, but Boom Mobile with the extra mana is huge, which makes me even want to Flood the Engine the Strategist, just to work this speed up here and keep Catalyzer on board towards, again, the double mana for Boom Mobile. Glitch Ghost Surveyor, Glory Heath Lynx, Lightning Strike the face puts me at max speed, but that feels worse than even just like chump attacking with Dynamite Diver. If I chump attack with Dynamite Diver, they block with the Lynx, I ping the face for 1. If they block with Surveyor, I just kill Surveyor with Dynamite Diver and don't care about my speed. Okay, so block with Lynx, I ping face for 1. That then gives me the mana to play Boom Mobile, where X equals 2, and kill the Lynx with the Boom Mobile, and then still have the Lightning Strike for the other card. Yeah, sorry, Dynamite Diver. You gotta die for the greater good. This works too. I will just kill the whole board then. I feel this is worth it. Oh, right, I can just outpace Oblivion for max speed. Oh, I'm dumb. I forgot about that, that synergy there. Okay. Yeah, I probably should have done that. But I mean, the block worked out for us. I mean, just trading up into the 2/2 is good too. Okay, I'm just going to Lightning Strike the Lynx here still. But I am not going to Boom Mobile on the empty board. Hazard of the Dunes. Okay, a 4/4. If I top deck a land, I've got enough off of Catalyzer, right? Oh, I forgot to outpace during the end step. I'm dumb. Well, I can take the Hazard now with Trade the Helm. Oh, this one was sloppy. Yeah, Boom Mobile is not doing 5 now. So I either draw 2 cards or trade the Helm. 3/1 into that. I guess draw 2 cards also gives me a better card to trade. A non-creature here if they don't have another creature to crew it. There's the stock up. That's a huge draw. Best cards out of the top 5 here. Oh, that was really bad. I just clicked too fast and didn't outpace during the end step. We really needed to do that to be at the max speed for Catalyzer on the previous turn. And then easily just boom the Hazard, and we're still just jamming in right now. But now we are locked in on the Trade the Helm. alternative play. Okay. Here we are with the trade the helm. We'll see what happens. They have 3 mana up. They would need exactly Broken Wings, because if they have something to blow up a creature, I'm targeting a vehicle, so they can't do that. Beautiful. Jam 3. Maximum speed, and they're down to 9. Yeah, I've just not been playing enough red to keep this Outpace Oblivion raising speed thing in mind. I even brought it up and immediately forgot it the next end step. Pile up? Sure. Boommobile their first post-board wipe card. And pile-up's obviously pretty bad for me. We have to top deck into some gas now. Okay, we're definitely going to Boommobile the Strategist. That can exhaust into a really big creature. I have max speed already. I'm just going to get the 2 damage now. Alright. A Dynamite Diver to crew the Boommobile is definitely good. Equals 2. Wait, can I could also shoot face here. I have 4 mana floating, so I can spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can shoot them to 2. I think I'm killing Strategist still. But that is nice, and I forgot that. So if I hit 2 more mana over the next couple turns, I could have tried to just shoot face for lethal. But I'd have to wait a while and take some big hits with a 5/5 Flying Vigilance from that point. Yeah, I think it's right to just Boommobile that. It's too big. Too scary. Oh, we found our own stock up. That is astronomical. Finds Fabricator Specialist here. Yeah, 4/3 on the ground. Actually better than the flyer right now. Because it also hastes in immediately. They have the Broken Wings for the Boommobile. Do they also have the way to kill the 4/3? One last card in their hand. They block it. It's the bounce spell. Okay, that's not so bad. Still around to attack next turn. Ranger's Aether Hive, 3/5 blocker. Okay, makes it worse, but that's the boosted Sloop Fabricator combo now. I need to get this combo started. I guess I don't need to get it started this turn, because I could just crew Fabricator and attack with that in the sky next turn and still start getting the things. But I don't mind losing the Prowlcatcher Specialist too bad here. Or the Dynamite Diver too bad here. I think I'm still going to wait on it. Send in Fabricator next turn. If they don't top deck a creature or a removal spell, they are dead. Because I can attack with the Sloop and the Fabricator. And they can't block either. Because they only have 1 blocker up. Wonderful. I'm going to hold Drifter pre-combat to lock in a Thopter token here, even if they kill Fabricator before I declare an attack with it. Alright. Guaranteed ourselves a Thopter and 2 more plays if things go wrong here. There's the concession on board. There's the concession. Our opponent is dead on board. To the Flyer and the Menace, and that brings us to victory number 5. We are 5-0 here, just 1 win away from potentially grabbing that Aetherdrift Collector booster box. Solid spot to be, no matter what, getting all of the gems we need to go for another attempt, but fingers crossed here. See if we can't get a win here within the next couple games. We have 2 rounds in the chamber for our final boss. All right, here we are on the play for game number 6. We are undefeated so far, which is obviously feeling pretty great. This hand is solid. I am a little sad to not have the untapped red source for the turn 1 Dynamite Diver, but still like the hand a lot. Okay. Start Skystreak Engineer still. I mean, I kind of like Refueler, Fabricator, Activate Refueler for the next 3 turns. I'm going to lean into that. Beast Rider Vanguard from opponent. We find End Rider Catalyzer. So I have no guarantee I'm going to hit the 4th land next turn to draw a card off of Refueler and trigger Fabricator, and that's the only thing I have to actually trigger that, so I don't mind starting my engines, crewing the Refueler, getting to speed 2 here, and holding up a bounce off, because this plays better if I don't top deck a land next turn. And even if I do, it still plays pretty dang well. It's almost as strong as just playing Fabricator and drawing the card next turn. Natural Jund from our opponent, green, black, red. There's the Villowheart Bike to ramp up. I don't love giving them more mana, but I wouldn't mind bouncing that off to... giving them more life, but I wouldn't mind bouncing that off to slow down their mana here. Alright, cool. So they're going to have to recast that again to get the ramp off of it. We find Boosted Sloop, which is not the 4th land we would have needed to trigger Fabricator, so that feels decent that we played the way we did so far. Play the Diver and the Engineer, and then they don't have any counterattacks. We're going up to 3 speed right now, and putting them dealing like 3 damage here. Yeah, I like that. Being able to crew an attack with Refueler again does seem quite good. Hit 6 this turn. They replay the bike. Let's go. Okay. Boosted Sloop, start drawing the cards, then play the Fabricator once I know it's triggering every turn no matter what. Doesn't feel awful. I guess if I hit max speed here, which is easy to do off of Engineer, could play Sloop and Fabricator this turn, because I can have Catalyzer give me the mana. Sure. I could crew Refueler with Diver and attack with that also, and get the Refueler to trade into the bike, but then I'm not drawing the card off of it. I don't think I want to do that. Now starting to play towards the long, grindy Fabricator game plan. Oh, that sucks a lot. Okay. Yeah, the no max speed here. Exactly, lightning strike off the bike. Play Fabricator, trigger Sloop next turn. I'm holding the land in hand for that opportunity. Eight trample is going to be insanely hard to race. But we're going to have a lot of flyers. Double block the sloop with an 8/8 and something else here. Keep me off max speed. But I still get the Thopter and kill a bike or a Vanguard. And I get the card selection, which is really important. I think we'll be low enough on mana. I want to keep Catalyzer around, so holding Diver up as the blocker feels better. Because that still blocks and kills Vanguard or Veloheart Bike if we need to do that on blocks. Trade the Helm with Thopter tokens is going to be really legit. Crew the bike, we're going to trade there, it looks like. Yep. Okay. If I desperately need trade the Helm mana, I can chump attack with Dynamite Diver to guarantee that. Off Catalyzer. Carrion Cruiser. Okay, another blocker on the ground. Yeah, if we just steal the 8/8 to where we know we're not getting outraced because I have an 8/8 blocker on the ground, they don't have an 8/8 attacker, then I feel kind of like we can go for the flying win over time. With Fabricator and Refueler also giving me some more there. Mutant Surveyor, sure. Okay, I do have to chump attack with Dynamite Diver to... Oh wait, no, I have a flying attacker and they don't have any reach. We just attack with the flyer then to get Catalyzer its mana. Do I attack with Thopter Fabricator? I'd have to crew it with Diver and the 1/1. Not have the Diver up on blocks. I don't think I do. I think I want better, more defensive blocks than that. For the turn that the Aganosaur is going to be tapped anyway. I mean, I suppose probably against all the open mana, I'm still not really going to want to block with the 4/4 Fabricator, but... This is still stressful. I'm still at 10 here. And I've got very few blockers here. Like, Mutant Surveyor definitely gets to get in. If they just attack in with all their mana up. But, like, I do have legit blocks for Vanguard or Fabricator or the 1/1. Or the Carrion Cruiser. Any of those attacking, and they would need a second spell to win on attacks. To win the combat, at least. Mech Cycle. Why is that an absolute nightmare for me right now? 6/5 haste attacker, and we just take it because we don't have good blocks for it. Go to like 4, but then I have an 8/8 up for it. Oh no. Yeah, you got me down to 4. Where Lightning Strike, Pact Altair, these kind of cards are big problems we could have soon. I can't block with Dynamite Diver, I just won't have enough blocks on future turns, enough creatures to crew my stuff. No natural double red here. Having to tap the Catalyzer to play something here is so bad. I almost want to just Refueler and not cast any spells this turn so that I have 4 blockers up. Five blockers up, actually. Yeah, that's 5 blockers up. Because Fabricator's trigger plus Refueler is now animating itself. Come on, mountain off the top. Or I guess now I've got enough blockers that I could afford to tap this towards one of these. There's the Road Rage on the Refueler, sure. I think I need to have as many blocks up as possible here. Worst case scenario, when they also throw removal at Fabricator, that's a little rough, but again, Boommobile double Hole Drifter will still be enough to grind out a long game without the extra Thopter tokens. I just really need to have enough blockers up to make it more likely to make it to that long game. Broodheart Engine to reanimate anything from their grave, which is currently basically nothing. They have no good attacks here, so they pass. That's the Hole Drifter mana, that's huge. That triggers, gives me another Thopter. And I, of course, have another big vehicle to start using soon enough. Okay. Again, as long as I stay alive, I'm constantly getting ahead in cards here with so much card draw on this deck. The problem is this format definitely has stuff that could just get me out of nowhere. Just a little bit of life drain would do it down at 4. There's another bike. They gain a couple. Back to 16. Another Mutant Surveyor. It's a large quantity of attackers. We're going to need to hold up 1,000,000 blockers. As has been the case for a while now. But Thopter Fabricator is helping us so much with that. Play Stock Up and Surveyor here. I'm not triggering Fabricator at all this turn if I do that. It's maybe greedy, but I just want to trigger Fabricator every turn. I already drew my bounce off, so I won't be able to draw into that here. There we go, the second red source has arrived. I guess the other thing to note against playing Stock Up there is that I think literally any draw is good. So I don't care about finding a select couple cards there because I'm still really looking for another red. So I'm still interested in mana. I'm definitely still interested in more creatures and just spells in general. So I think because I don't care what the 2 cards are, it's probably better to play the vehicle. Okay, how bad is Grimbauble for me? Kind of bad. They get to kill Catalyzer. And I do have a lot of stuff to do with my mana, so that's a slight bummer. But it's not horrible. Alright, we're probably at the point of boom-mobiling the Flyer and trying to get a kill within probably about 3 swings in the sky. If this board state gets wide enough that that feels safe, it gets close to doing so. I certainly like every turn where they have no cards in hand, could just start attacking for 4 with Thopter Fabricator, because I would rather not be trying to animate and block with that, putting it at any risk. Broodheart Engine is going to pick up Dune Drifter. They can't pay X on it, so it's just a 3/3, so that's fine. Just a 3/3 vehicle. Okay. And they pass. Alright. Outpace Oblivion is huge. The 5 damage to the mech cycle's kind of perfect. Sure. 5 damage to the mech cycle. 1 less big spooky blocker, or big spooky attacker to worry about. I guess I should also be a little worried about Beast Rider Vanguard's ability. Now that they've cracked the Graveyard Recursion, I guess I can Boommobile anything, but I did tap myself out of Boommobile for 5 here. Or sorry, Boommobile for 2 here. With the Outpace. So I have to wait a turn for Boommobile. Alright, we wait a turn. I'm actually going to Boommobile the Vanguard. I have so many flyers, I should be able to. I should be able to just force the jump with the Thopter eventually. Just keep attacking with the 3/2s and 4/4s and stuff. And currently I am kind of interested in being able to actually crew the 4/4 against the 2/2, because the 3/2 against the 2/2 blocker is pretty bad. That's why my brain was short-circuiting for a second there, is because I was like trying to think about all this other stuff. Okay, Earth Rumbler is horrific, but they don't have the mana to play it yet. So hopefully we can just kill them by the time they can afford to play that. Oh, I can also Boommobile the face. That's a thing we can do. They're at 13. They have 1 flying blocker. They can block a 4/4, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 4 life left. 1, 2, 3, 4. X equals 1. We can kill them this turn. If they have no life gain on board and no additional flying blockers. Yeah, double check. This vehicle deals X to any target. Okay. Okay, the problem is I need to be able to crew all these vehicles and still attack with all the flyers. So I can crew 1 with Rex, 1 with Diver. That would be 2 of them getting crewed. If I Specialist, I will have double red and 1, 2. That would be X equals 1. I could do X equals 3. That's not quite enough mana. Oh, I can Outpace Oblivion for 2 damage, though. Outpace Oblivion for 2 puts them to... Oh my god, puts them to 11. And then 2 mana here for the Prowlcatcher. And 4 for the Boommobile. So I can shoot for 3 between Outpace Oblivion and Boommobile instead. Or actually, you know what? This is probably lethal doing it this way, right? To just Boommobile first and just shoot the Thopter, and then the Thopter doesn't stop the 4. The X to any target should just be 1 damage to the Thopter. And then I basically X equals Ford with the damage. They're at 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 flying power. Yeah, I was extremely overcomplicating that when I got excited about Boommobile shooting face. Like, because it can shoot the blocker, it's basically already shooting face. Oh my god. Six and 0 That is victory, that is freedom, that is a collector booster box of Aetherdrift. All right, that is a 6-0 no-loss run for the funnest deck that we ended up playing. We had like a very normal-looking Sultai grindy sealed pool and just went for blue-red start your engines card draw shenanigans combo. Thopter Fabricator with a bunch of card draw, Hazoret with a bunch of other start your engines. I'm really happy with how this played out. So cannot be unhappy with how we built the deck. We even got a ton of value off of the trade the helm. I think we would have lost that last game without it. The Walking Sarcophagus as well, a tremendously filler, quite mediocre card in many decks, but again, it actually played out really decently for us. It just has more ways to consistently work on the engines for Hazoret, which was a win condition in multiple games, or at least just a repeatable, indestructible blocker for us. That was also really important. Yeah, just tons of bomb power in this color pair between Fabricator, Boommobile, and Hazoret. That was obviously incredible. So I'm really happy to have had those. We had a Mindspring Merfolk as well. We didn't draw that quite as often. And some decent removal. We had Outpace Oblivion, Flood the Engine, Lightning Strike, and Bounce Off. A little bit light on removal. That was one of our biggest issues, but we never lost a game. But that was one of the scariest things, was against some of those big, beefy green creatures. We didn't have a lot of ways to deal with them. Luckily, we managed to outgrind that first green deck somehow. I don't remember by now. And then the last one, we just stole their biggest creature instead, which was super nasty, having the 8/8 up on blocks. So yeah, really happy with this deck. It was a massive overperformer. I thought this was going to be more cute than anything, but all of the different little synergistic things that we had going for it played really well together, and of course, it had a lot of bomb power too, but it was really nice to see all the start your engine stuff really ticking together, the card draw cards synergizing, the Sloop Fabricator combo and stuff like that going off, Rangers of Fueler getting extra card draws off of exhausting other cards, lots of little things just really stacking together to pull this deck out with all the victories for the 6-0 run. Feels great, and I am going to stop there. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. That's usually what I like to do in these Arena Direct events, try to get my one box and move on here, because it's going to be hard to do much better than that. That is a box 4 attempts in here. That's $100 for that $200+ Aetherdrift Collector Booster Box prize. So a fantastic way to end off the Aetherdrift Arena Direct event. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed watching and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.